Your liver never truly rests, and the hours you spend asleep are the hours it works the hardest. Most people have no idea this is happening. From about 10 o'clock at night onward, the organ that filters your blood breaks down every medication you take and quietly decides whether the fat from your dinner gets stored away or burned for fuel shifts into repair mode for the night. And what you put into your body in that final hour before bed either helps it do that job or hands it a pile of work it simply cannot finish before morning arrives. After the age of 60, this matters far more than you think. Right now, nearly 1 in 3 adults is walking around with extra fat packed inside the liver, and most of them feel perfectly fine. That is the cruel part. A struggling liver does not hurt. There are no pain nerves inside the organ to warn you that something is wrong. By the time it finally shows up on a routine blood test, the damage has been quietly building for years, sometimes decades, in complete silence. I am Dr. William Lee, and I have spent years watching this quiet problem turn into a serious one. So tonight, I am going to give you the exact fruits to eat in the evening that actually help your liver clear that fat away while you sleep. Some of them you will absolutely expect. A few of them are going to genuinely surprise you. And one of them is a fruit that most people over the age of 60 have been specifically told to stay away from. And at the very end of this, I will hand you a simple bedtime recipe that puts the best of all of them together into one single glass that you can make in 2 minutes. But before I tell you about the first fruit, I want to say something directly to the person watching this right now who is quietly worried that they have left it too late. You have not left it too late. I have watched people well into their 70s turn a fatty liver completely around. Because the liver is one of the only organs in your entire body that can genuinely repair and regenerate itself, once you stop overloading it and start giving it what it actually needs to heal. That is the whole reason I do this work. I want you living longer, stronger, and healthier, well past the age that everyone around you told you to slow down and give up. So I took everything I tell my own patients, the food, the timing, and the small daily habits that actually move the needle, and I put all of it into one simple plan. That plan has already helped thousands of people over the age of 60 get their energy back and get their numbers back where they belong. If you want it, the link is sitting right there on your screen, waiting for you whenever you feel ready for it. Now, let us talk about your liver. Here is what almost nobody bothers to explain to you inside a rush 12-minute office visit. Your liver is the single busiest factory in your entire body, and the remarkable thing is that it runs the night shift. While you are asleep and you are not eating anything, your liver does all of the heavy lifting. It pulls stored fat out of its reserves and burns it for fuel. It packages up all the waste and the toxins so they can be cleared out of your system, and it repairs its own damaged cells from all the wear and tear of the day you just lived through. This stretch of time is called the fasting window. It is the period from your last bite of food at night until your very first bite the next morning, and it is the exact time when your liver is meant to empty its tank completely. The real trouble comes from what we hand the liver right before that precious window even opens. When the last food of your day is a bowl of ice cream, a fistful of crackers, or a tall glass of juice, you flood the liver with a wave of sugar and fat at the exact moment it was finally about to start cleaning house. So instead of burning fat all night long the way it was designed to, it spends the entire night storing that fat away instead. Do that night after night for years on end, and the fat begins to build up inside the liver cells themselves. We call that a fatty liver, or by its proper medical name, hepatic steatosis, which simply means fat sitting in a place where it does not belong at all. Left completely alone, that trapped fat begins to inflame the liver, and inflammation, given enough time, slowly turns into scarring. And here is the part that almost nobody ever tells you, the part about timing. It is not only what you eat that matters, it is when you eat it. A fatty liver almost never announces its own arrival. It moves through its stages very quietly. First, the fat quietly builds up. Then it begins to inflame, and that stage even has its own name, steatohepatitis, which just means a fatty liver that has started to burn from the inside. Then, over the course of years, that low, smoldering fire slowly lays down scar tissue, and here is the hard truth: scar tissue does not come back. The window where you can still turn all of this around is the early window, and most people are sitting right in the middle of it at this very moment without having any idea. The evening is your daily chance to actually use that window instead of wasting it entirely. Every single fruit I am about to give you does one of three specific jobs during that overnight window. It either delivers antioxidants that mop up the damage caused by processing all of that fat, and those are compounds that neutralize the rust-like stress happening inside your cells. Or it carries soluble fiber that feeds your gut bacteria and cuts down on the fat and toxins flowing up to your liver in the first place. Or it brings plant compounds that actually flip an internal switch inside the liver, turning it from storing fat back over to burning fat. And every one of them is low enough in sugar that you can safely eat it at night without spiking your insulin right before you climb into bed. Let me show you the very first one. The first fruit is the kiwi, and it honestly earns its place in the bedtime slot more than almost anything else on this entire list. Most people think of the kiwi as just a tart little green fruit that happens to carry a lot of vitamin C. It certainly has that. A single kiwi covers most of your entire day's worth of vitamin C, and that vitamin genuinely matters here, because your liver burns through its supply of antioxidants overnight as it works to process fat. But the real reason I tell my patients to eat kiwi specifically at night is because of what it does to your sleep. The kiwi is one of the very few foods that is naturally high in serotonin, the calming chemical your brain relies on to wind itself down. Researchers had people eat 2 kiwis about an hour before bed, and within just a few weeks, those very people were falling asleep faster and staying asleep for longer. That is not a small side note. Your liver does its most important repair work during deep sleep, so a fruit that deepens your sleep is quietly protecting your liver all through the night. If you sleep badly, your liver never actually gets its full shift in. On top of the sleep angle, kiwi also brings soluble fiber and a whole set of polyphenols, which are natural plant antioxidants that help to calm the low-grade inflammation driving liver fat. To use it, simply eat 1 or 2 whole kiwis about an hour before bed. Eat the skin if you can possibly manage it, because that is where much of the fiber and the antioxidant load actually lives. Give it a quick rinse and a rub, and the fuzz is genuinely easy to get past. Number 2 is blueberries, and this is the one with the strongest and most direct evidence for the liver itself. What makes a blueberry that deep, rich blue is a pigment called anthocyanin. That single pigment is one of the most powerful liver protective compounds we currently know of anywhere in food. In clinical trials, concentrated anthocyanins actually lowered the liver enzymes that signal liver stress. Those are markers called ALT and AST, and they climb whenever liver cells are inflamed and leaking. The anthocyanins in blueberries do 2 things at exactly the same time. They cool the inflammation happening inside the liver, and they also appear to slow down the liver's own machinery for making and storing brand new fat. If you skip this one because berries feel a little too much like a treat, you are walking straight past one of the cheapest pieces of liver insurance in the entire grocery store. Frozen works just as well as fresh does here, and frozen berries are often picked riper, which means the pigment content is even higher. Here is how to use them at night. A small handful, about half a cup, on their own, or stirred into a little plain yogurt. Keep the portion modest, because while the sugar in a blueberry is low and wrapped up in fiber, you do not want a giant bowl of them right before bed. Half a cup gives your liver the pigment it needs without much sugar at all. Third on the list is one that surprises almost everyone, because most people do not even realize it is a fruit: the avocado. Yes, botanically, the avocado truly is a fruit, and for your liver, it might just be the single most useful one on this entire list. Most people avoid it because they hear the word fat and immediately panic. That fear is quietly costing them. The fat inside an avocado is monounsaturated fat, the very same family as olive oil, and it is one of the most liver-friendly foods you can possibly eat. It actually helps to pull fat out of the liver rather than pack more of it in. The avocado also does something else that no other fruit here does nearly as well. It is rich in glutathione, which is the master antioxidant that your liver uses to detoxify absolutely everything that passes through it. Your liver makes its own glutathione, but that production falls off as we age, and a fatty liver burns through its supply fast. Eating a fruit that carries glutathione, along with the raw building blocks to make even more of it, is direct support for the exact system that cleans your blood overnight. On top of all of that, a single avocado carries around 10 grams of fiber, which feeds the gut and slows everything down. A quarter to a half of an avocado in the evening is plenty. Mash it up with a little salt and a squeeze of lemon, or slice it onto a small piece of whole grain toast a couple of hours before bed. It is genuinely filling, so it also stops the late-night snack raid that wrecks so many livers. So far, every fruit has done the same quiet work, mopping up the damage and slowing the fat down, and we are only 3 of them in. The next 5 are where things get truly interesting, including the one that your doctor may have already told you to avoid entirely. Quick favor before I go on. If this is the very first time anyone has actually explained to you why your liver needs help specifically at night, instead of just telling you to eat better, please hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. And if someone in your family is fighting their weight or their blood sugar, please send it along to them, because a fatty liver very often sits quietly underneath both of those problems. So, number 4 is red grapes, and the color is genuinely the whole point of it. The skin of a red or purple grape is absolutely loaded with resveratrol, a plant compound that has become one of the most heavily studied molecules in all of aging and liver research. Resveratrol works on the liver by activating a whole set of internal switches that tell your cells to burn fat for energy instead of hoarding it away. It also calms inflammation inside the liver and helps to protect the liver cells from the oxidative stress of processing fat overnight. The green grape does not carry anywhere near as much of this, so reach specifically for the red and purple ones. Now, a word of caution to keep this completely honest. Grapes are noticeably sweeter than the other fruits we have covered so far, so portion is everything here. This is not a fruit to eat by the bowlful at night. About 10 to 15 red grapes is the right evening dose. Eat them whole, skin and all, because the resveratrol lives right there in the skin. A small trick that I personally like is to freeze them, because frozen grapes take much longer to eat and feel like a real dessert, which keeps you from reaching for actual ice cream instead. Number 5 is the humble apple, and it works on your liver through a back door that most people never think about at all, and that door is your gut. An apple is one of the very best sources of soluble fiber that exists, in the form of pectin. When that pectin reaches your gut, it feeds the good bacteria living down there, and those bacteria then produce compounds that travel up to the liver and tell it directly to calm down and store less fat. This connection between your gut and your liver runs in a straight line through a vein called the portal vein, and a healthy gut sends the liver healthy signals. A troubled gut, on the other hand, floods it with inflammation. The apple quietly fixes the upstream end of that entire pipe. And there is even more to it. The skin of an apple carries quercetin, an antioxidant that has been shown to reduce fat buildup and inflammation in the liver. Peel the apple, and you throw most of that goodness straight away. So eat it whole. A medium apple in the evening is ideal, and a slightly tart one like a Granny Smith has less sugar and even more of the good fiber. If you want it to feel like a treat, slice it up and sprinkle some real cinnamon on top, which has its own gentle blood sugar benefit. Eat it an hour or 2 before bed, so the fiber has enough time to do its work. Number 6 is pomegranate, and almost nobody thinks to reach for it at night, mostly because it has earned itself a reputation for being a real hassle to eat. It is genuinely worth the small effort. Those little ruby seeds, the arils, are absolutely packed with compounds called punicolagens, which are some of the most potent antioxidants found in any fruit anywhere, stronger ounce for ounce than green tea or red wine. For your liver, That antioxidant power goes straight to the heart of the problem. A fatty liver is a liver under oxidative stress, that slow internal rusting I keep coming back to again and again. And pomegranate floods it with exactly the compounds that quench that stress. The result in the research has been lower liver fat and calmer liver inflammation. Pomegranate works on the fat itself too. It helps your body handle blood fats called triglycerides, the very same fats that get dumped into an overworked liver. And it supports the liver's ability to clear them out instead of storing them away. For a fruit that tastes like a dessert, it is doing serious metabolic work all through the night. A word on exactly what to buy, because this one trips people up. The whole seeds are what you want, not the sugary bottled pomegranate drinks, which strip out all the fiber and concentrate the sugar until you are basically just drinking soda. If you buy juice at all, make it a small splash of pure, unsweetened juice. Never the cocktail blends. In the evening, about a quarter to a half cup of the fresh seeds is a perfect amount. Sprinkle them over some plain yogurt or eat them straight by the spoonful. A quick way to seed one without the mess is to halve it and tap the back with a wooden spoon over a bowl, and the seeds drop right out. That burst of tart sweetness makes it feel like a real treat, which is exactly the point, because it keeps you far away from the things that actually hurt your liver at night. Number 7 is papaya, and this is the one that almost nobody in this country ever thinks to eat for their liver. Papaya carries a natural enzyme called papain, which helps your body break down protein and ease the entire digestive load. And it is packed with antioxidants like beta-carotene and vitamin C that the liver leans on heavily. In the parts of the world where papaya grows freely, the fruit and even its seeds have been used for liver support for many generations. And modern work is now starting to back up exactly why. The antioxidants in papaya help to defend liver cells against the kind of damage that drives fat accumulation and early scarring. It is also gentle and low in sugar, which makes it a smart fruit to eat at night. A struggling, sluggish digestion at bedtime puts even more strain on the liver, and papaya helps things keep moving along. Use about 1 cup of fresh papaya, cubed, in the evening. Squeeze a little lime over it, which lifts the flavor beautifully and adds even more vitamin C on top. If fresh papaya is hard to find near you, a ripe one keeps well, and it is genuinely worth asking your grocer to start stocking it. Number 8 is the surprise that I promised you, and it is grapefruit. The one single fruit that a lot of people over the age of 60 have been specifically told to stay far away from. Let me explain both sides of this carefully, because it is important. Grapefruit is one of the best fruits in the entire world for a fatty liver. It is rich in a compound called naringenin, the antioxidant that gives grapefruit its slightly bitter edge. And naringenin has been shown to push the liver toward burning fat and to reduce the fat stored inside the liver cells themselves. It also fights the inflammation that turns a simple fatty liver into a scarred one over time. Ounce for ounce, very few fruits do more for the exact organ we are talking about tonight. So why are people warned off it? Grapefruit contains compounds that block an enzyme in your gut called CYP3A4, the very enzyme that breaks down many common medications. With that enzyme blocked, certain drugs can build up to much higher levels than intended. This matters most with some cholesterol statins, certain blood pressure pills, and a handful of other medications. This is the one fruit on this whole list where I have to be completely direct with you. If you take any prescription medication at all, do not add grapefruit until you have asked your doctor or your pharmacist whether it is safe with your specific list. For many people, it is completely fine. For some people, it is not. And only your own medication list can truly answer that question. Before I give you the bonus recipe, I need to draw a clear line, exactly the way I would inside my own office. These fruits support a liver that is fatty or stressed. They are not a treatment for a liver that is already in real trouble. If you have yellowing of your skin or the whites of your eyes, that is jaundice, and it means you see a doctor promptly. The same goes for pain or swelling in the upper right side of your belly, dark urine, or unexplained swelling in your legs and abdomen. Those are not fruit problems. Those are see someone problems. And if you already carry a diagnosis of liver disease or hepatitis, fold these fruits in only with your doctor's blessing, especially the grapefruit. Food is the foundation. It is not the whole house. Let me tell you about someone I will call Patricia. She was 64, recently retired, and she came in feeling fine, just tired in a way she could not seem to shake. Her blood work told a very different story. Her ALT, that liver enzyme I mentioned, was up, and an ultrasound showed a moderately fatty liver. She was completely stunned. She barely drank, and she had always assumed that liver trouble was strictly a drinker's problem. We did not start with a prescription. We started with her evenings. Patricia had a habit of winding down with a bowl of cereal or a couple of cookies most nights, right before bed, right as her liver was meant to be starting its night shift. We swapped that out. Some nights it was kiwi and a few blueberries. Other nights, half an avocado on toast or apple slices with cinnamon. On the weekend, grapefruit, after her pharmacist confirmed it was safe with her pressure pill, and she added a 10-minute walk after dinner. 3 months later, her ALT had come down toward the normal range and the heavy tiredness had lifted. Her liver was doing exactly what a liver does when you finally stop fighting it. None of this was a miracle. It was simply her giving the organ its night shift back. Now, the bonus I promised you, the simple bedtime recipe that puts the best of all these into one single glass. I call it the Bedtime Liver Tonic, and it takes just 2 minutes. Into a blender, put 1 whole kiwi, peeled or scrubbed. Add a small handful of blueberries, about 1/4 cup. Add 1/4 of an avocado for that glutathione and the healthy fat. Pour in about 1/2 cup of plain, unsweetened kefir, or plain yogurt, which brings the probiotics for that gut-liver connection we just talked about, and a splash of water to loosen it all up. Finish with a small shake of real cinnamon. Blend it until smooth, and that is it. It is low in sugar and rich in the exact antioxidants and fiber your liver wants overnight. And it gives you something to reach for at night that is finally working for your liver instead of against it. Drink it about an hour before bed in place of the snack that used to undo your whole night. Let me give you a couple of easy variations so that you do not get bored of it, because the one you actually keep doing is the one that truly works. On a night when you want it to feel more like a dessert, drop in a few red grapes or a spoonful of pomegranate seeds before you blend. If your stomach is sensitive at night, skip the kefir and just use plain water with a few of the blueberries and the avocado. And honestly, you do not even have to blend anything at all. A small bowl of kiwi and blueberries with a spoon of plain yogurt does most of the very same work. The tool here is not the blender. The tool is the swap, trading that late-night starch for the fruit. Notice that I left the grapefruit out of the blended recipe on purpose because of the medication issue we covered. Keep the grapefruit separate, eaten entirely on its own, and only if your doctor or pharmacist has cleared it with your list. So here is exactly what to do tonight, in 5 simple steps. 1. Close your kitchen earlier. Try to make the last food of your night one of these fruits instead of a starch or a sweet, so your liver starts its night shift empty. 2. Pick 1 fruit from tonight's list that is already sitting in your house right now and eat a small portion of it about an hour before bed. 3. If you want the full effect, make the Bedtime Liver Tonic: kiwi, blueberries, a little avocado, plain kefir, and a shake of cinnamon. 4. Add a 10-minute walk after dinner. It helps your muscles pull sugar out of your blood before it ever even reaches the liver. 5. If you take any prescription medication, write down 1 single question for your pharmacist this week. Is grapefruit safe with my list? That 1 question protects you and unlocks the best liver fruit there is. Now, eating the right fruit at night is only half of the picture. The other half is what you do first thing in the morning, because there are a few ordinary morning habits, things you might be doing every single day with the very best of intentions, that quietly feed a fatty liver and undo all the good work you did overnight. In my next video, I will walk you through the exact morning routine that protects your liver and the 1 common breakfast mistake that puts fat right back where you do not want it. I will see you there.